Hello again, everybody. Scott Casper, Takedown Wrestling. We continue our coverage of the sport. This time we head off a little bit off because we're going to talk a little UFC, but we're going to talk about UFC with one of the best American women ever. She won an Olympic silver medal in freestyle. Sara Mcmann joins us. She was the first to do so. Sara, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm good. It's it was so great. It was so great to see you in New York at the Garden, watching wrestling. You were watching. I was working. I had an opportunity to interview you. It was so great to see you there. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I had a really good time there. I haven't been able to see as much high-level collegiate wrestling in a while, so it was really exciting just skimming all the mats and picking up on different matches and like the specialized bout that had grapplers and MMA fighters matching up again and Greco guys and freestyle guys. It was a really awesome event.
Last you fought was UFC Fight Night, August 16th. You're coming up on a big fight, January 31. It'll be another UFC battle, of course, as you take on Miesha Tate. I'd look at a record. I'd look at an 8-1 record, specifically with your only loss coming to a very talented one, Ronda Rousey. I get that, but you bounced back with a nice win against Lauren Murphy. How have you been preparing for Miesha Tate? Is there a big difference in your preparation for a Miesha Tate versus a Lauren Murphy or a Ronda Rousey? Do you look at specific skill sets?
I think I prepare a little bit more closely with like Miesha Tate and Lauren Murphy, just because they're a little more well-rounded fighters. They have, equal threats on the ground and on their feet, I think. With Ronda, it was a lot more specialized training, just because her, best skill was in, her throws and submission games. So, like I like the variety of training that training for like Lauren and Miesha offers, rather than just the specialized training.
I think my favorite fight for you was Sheila Gaff. I mean, at 4 minutes 6 seconds, but you won by punches, and I'm so used to seeing you wrestle. It was cool to see you just stand up and throw. Do you like the punching aspect of mixed martial arts?
I do like it. I didn't know if I was going to when I first started out. I kind of gave myself a little leeway, like, some wrestlers take to MMA and some don't. I'll give myself a year to see how I like it. But then once I started learning striking and how intricate it is and how detailed it is, and like the same amount of technical expertise to be a great striker that you have with wrestling, I fell in love with it.
Tremendous amount of movement, isn't there? When you throw a hand, there's counter movement that your body must go through. Your eyes must shift to see what the competition is going to be doing. I mean, it's a wonderful balance, isn't it? Or you attempt to achieve a wonderful balance.
Yeah. No, it's definitely like the body positionings and the little details are so intricate, and it's very, you can feel yourself out of position, and where you're supposed to be when your body's meant to be and stuff like that. And so like it's just a constant tweaking and adjusting once you learn the basics. And that's kind of what the same thing I feel for wrestling and jiu-jitsu, like it's very intricate the deeper you get into these, higher level sports.
I've known you a long time. You and I were talking off air about the age of a fighter, how long a fighter can last, and it used to be predicted a fighter's career would be over in his 20s, late 20s, maybe early 30s. Here you are, 34, and perhaps in the best shape of your career, professional or otherwise. How do you feel?
I feel really good. I definitely thought that I would be doing worse at this point. Like wrestling is super hard on your body. But it turns out, taking care of yourself, eating healthy, and, being really smart with your injuries and your body. And it just extends things, like not everybody falls in the same range of where they'll peak and, when their career is done. But I think also part of it is that, fighting is a little bit more spread out and you only have one competition per night. So that also makes a difference, I think. Like, I think it would be a little bit more difficult for me to be still doing tournaments, at this point. Not impossible, but just a little more difficult, I think.
I would have liked to have seen you as part of Team Joe Warren, or dare I say Team Hensel Gracie. But would you consider, as so many of those guys did, Joe Warren, Mo Willowall, and I'm not going to run down the complete roster here, but the idea of returning to the mats for competition for a specialized event like Grapple at the Garden, is that something you would entertain?
Yeah. No, I love wrestling and I miss it, and it would be fun to train some wrestling, you know, and get back into that. And no, I mean, like that seems like a really cool thing for me. I love competing. So I do jujitsu tournaments too. So I'm not like too far removed.
Not too far removed. I don't think you ever could be. A genuine wrestler at heart, and what a talent. Where are you training now?
I train at Revolution Martial Arts. And I train with Cody Freeland. He's my striking coach. But I travel up to Marcelo Garcia's and I work with Phil Nurse, both in New York City.
Wow. So you are spreading it out, as they say. What do you want to tell your fans who've been out there? I know Dave Martin takes care of your business side of things, but you have trainers for specific parts of your career, whether it's stand-up, mat, jiu-jitsu, what have you. You've got all of that, but perhaps the most important part of a fighter's toolkit, for example, would be the relationship they have with fans. I think the more fans and more interaction you have, the stronger a fighter. You agree?
Um, I think to a degree, you know, I think that sometimes fighters can get, you know, sidetracked or off focus of what's really important, you know, and so like it's a balance, I think, but you know, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, do a lot to support fighters and that are behind the scenes and, you know, just really care about some of the fighters and their careers, win or lose. And I think that that is something that, you know, that we have a responsibility to, you know, keep maintaining that and, you know, make sure that we're doing the right things on and off the mat for, you know, to say thank you to our fans.
And
And, but you know, sometimes, you know, I don't feel obligation to the fair weather fans. You know, I mean, that's maybe that's bad of me, but you know, people who, you know, aren't really true mixed martial artist fans, people who don't really like care about the sport and kind of just tune in. And then, you know, some people who get on there and, you know, make obnoxious, degrading comments about people. I don't support that, you know.
mm,
So I don't really look at them as MMA fans. I look at them as people who, you know, are bored and maybe want to watch a little soap opera or something like so.
what did you? And this may be off track, and choose to answer or not. The Cormier Jones fight ended with Jones winning.
Yeah.
What did you think of the fight, and then what did you think of the drama that unfolded almost immediately after?
So with the fight, I think that Daniel Cormier worked his butt off. I think that he fought, you know, intelligently. I think he went in there and executed the best, you know, game plan in order to try to win the fight. He was getting inside, he was getting nice power shots and stuff like that. And, you know, I've known Cormier for like 14 years. And
Yeah.
so, you know, I just care about my friend. You know, I want him to do well and to win. And it, you know, just breaks my heart for him that he didn't get what he clearly worked extremely hard for. The drama that unfolded afterwards, I think that it's very sad. You know, I look at it more from a mother's perspective. And so I'm like, he has a family and children, you know, and like I think in MMA sometimes people can get caught up in like the living like a rock star and the fame and you know things like that, and it can draw you into places that you know you just know are bad ideas. And so I really feel you know bad for that, and I wish that he didn't make that choice. But I mean that's
Should
I,
the UFC strip him of his title, whether it's a banned substance or not? Obviously, it's an illegal substance.
yeah, it's an illegal substance. I think that they should follow whatever their rules and criteria is because you can't just start now since somebody who, you know, if you wouldn't do that for a number 10 ranked fighter, you can't just automatically do it for the number 1. So whatever it is, if you need to change your, you know, your criteria of what fighters, you know, will get stripped of and won't get stripped of, you know, you can't do that now in hindsight. So, um, but you know,
It
like it,
might be a good opportunity for the UFC to set or at least adjust their rules to have something like that included, if only to set the pace in a positive way.
yeah, just to say, look, you know, like we don't want you to do performance enhancing drugs, but we also don't want you to do illegal drugs, you know, like, so, I mean,
Which
I
would
think
be
that,
the opposite of performance enhancing drugs.
well, I mean, I don't know, like, truthfully, cocaine is something that's like an upper, like,
It's a
so I don't know
stimulant, yeah.
that training with it doesn't change things, you know? I would assume that it didn't, but like I said, I just don't know, but I think that
I will ask you, and then we'll work toward our close here because I know you've got other things scheduled. But early on, first, second round, Cormier, I think, got inside, and that it looked to me as if it kind of screwed up John Jones' game plan because he wasn't able to stretch out. He wasn't able to extend that distance. So Daniel was inside that reach, if you will, and Cormier looked like, Jones looked like he was bunching up. Cormier looked, I think he won round 1 and 2 pretty handily. But I think that was the game plan going in, at least to cut that distance off and stay away from those long punches. Is that what you saw?
Yes, and he executed it very well. Like he did an excellent job of coming in and engaging and throwing with a lot of power, and I think that, that's something that game plan is exactly what would have won him the fight. And, one of those connects at the right spot. It's a fight ender. Cormier is one of the most powerful athletes that I've ever been around. So, I mean, he did exactly what he needed to do.
Good guy, good dad. It's always a pleasure to talk with you, Sara. We look forward to seeing your fight January 31 as you face Miesha Tate. She's 15-5. You've got an incredible record of 8-1 going. It'll be, again, the 31st at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Sara, best to you, best to your beautiful little girl as well. Hope everything goes well for you in your training. We're looking forward to seeing you victorious January 31.
Thank you.
For all of us at Takedown, I'm Scott Casper. Thanks for watching to this very special interview with a good friend of ours, Sara Mcmann.